my friends, and welcome back to another episode of Egg Wars. Glad to see ya. Hope you're doing well. I'm so appreciative to have you with me today. And speaking of what we have with us today, I put this new background up. It's not moving. It is a still image, but it's taken by a great guy. If you spent times on the streams and, in the past, you may have known of a guy who went by the name of Hank Hill 420. I've known him as Kurtek. But in any case, he is not American, but he was in America somewhat recently, and he took this picture in New York City. He said, man, do you want to put this up as a background? I said, you absolutely are correct. I would love to do that. And so shout out to my boy for this background today. All original content. And you know what else? I'm going to tell you, all right, today, hopefully I'm looking a little bit cleaner. I actually bathed today, unusual lately when I've been a little bit immobile. But I didn't even do just that. I also went to the store with my backpack so I could carry my groceries, and I loaded up. This is all, listen to that. We got a backpack full of sips, all different kinds of sips. And today we're starting off with the one sip that I bought. It does have the sugar, it's all that shit, but I keep seeing this Mango Loco Monster, and I'm saying to myself, I like mangoes, I like tropical fruit, so I gotta know what's good with it. I gotta find out, I gotta know what's good. But also, before I crack the sip, I'll let y'all know. Last video, we're doing this thing, the giveaway with the games, the Neckbeard video game, and on account of my comment picker. The winner from EggWars 33 was Adele Fittler with the comment, I love you, Eggman. It's good to see people once in a while that I can relate to. So Adele Fittler, if you are so inclined, please do let me know your Steam information. I'm going to send a gift copy of that over. And everybody else, make sure you are smashing that motherfucking like button and you doing the comments and all that so that I can, throw you in for the next chance. But in any case, let's go ahead here and let's crack this sip. I want to try it out. It's a new flavor I've never had this flavor. Let's get a little bit of an aroma. Oh yeah. Reminds me of those tropical Starburst candies. Alright, well, nothing to it but to do it, my friends. Let's go ahead and taste that 16% juice. Ooh. Yep, it's definitely got a good mango flavor. It's I don't know, it's nothing, it's not mind-blowing. It's pretty much what's to be expected. But, it's not too overly artificial. That is the, other than water, mango juice from concentrate is the next, liquid ingredient there, so, it's made with the real juice. And I think it's noticeable. Alright, in any case, this isn't a food review, this is Egg Wars. So let's get back to it here. Now today I'm sure people are going to see the title of this video and they're going to go, there's a lot of people who have heard what I'm about to tell in this video today. They've heard it a million times. And there's some people who probably don't even want to listen to this one. But, I want to let you guys know, since I've started Egg Wars, we've got over 400 new subscribers, which is pretty substantial for me, so. And there's a lot of people who also are just, they're just not familiar, they might have come in at some other point in my saga. It's crazy for me to address it like that. But, they might have came in at some other point, and so they just, they might not be aware, or, I've never, to this day, I have never put a video out to direct people towards about this situation. So this is just what we're doing today. We're going to put the video out for people who don't know, or just to have the final thing out there, the final, thing to direct people to if they're interested. So, the Oregon situation. Let's go back. Now, let's take it back to, I just talked about in the last Egg Wars about the death of my first channel. And really, this all kind of comes together because, some people, they say good things about me now, but I'm just going to be totally honest with you. Back at the time, I was not the most good person, you know what I mean? Not the most, I basically just sat on my computer way too many hours every single day. I was a trip code poster, a goddamn thread derailer. I was a shit poster. I was not a pleasant person, and a lot of people didn't like me, because I just would sit around and fucking rage post and just whatever. So I had a lot of people who were like, get the fuck off of our board, you goddamn piece of shit, you stupid attention whore, you stupid idiot. And of course, I was just continuing to do that, and then I was like, oh, well, fuck all this shit, I'm gonna do YouTube videos, I don't even care about this shit anymore, and a bunch of people got pissed off, and they're like, you stupid goddamn, I could not stop pissing people off, basically. I was just continuously a fucking ball of anger, and I was abrasive, and just fucking autistic, and it was all, so basically I just couldn't stop, being an abrasive shithead, jackass, so all this different stuff. So it was August of 2015, I had deleted my YouTube channel, I was blah, 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 whatever, I was kind of in my slump, and I went in the end of August. That's when I went to Toronto, that's when I went to Fan Expo, that's when I was doing all that stuff. So, at this time, the first Slash channel was existing, but I hadn't made a YouTube channel. I didn't create my Egg White channel until after I was back from Toronto, which was mid-September then of 2015. But so for this time, I'm floating around. People are like, oh, is Eggman dead? We don't know. And what's going on? Nobody knows. And, and like I said in the other video, I was still occasionally, posting, a selfie every now and then or whatever, just to let people know that I'm still alive, but I didn't want to. I was like, I'm sick of all this shit. I'm sick of it all. I'm just kind of done with it all. And so I had come back, and I had, once I was back from Toronto, I created a new YouTube channel, where I uploaded 3 songs that I did, but, I wasn't interested in what I'd done before. I was kind of reinventing myself. I was going to kind of take things a different direction at the time. That was what I was planning on. But, also then after I came back from Toronto, I still wasn't feeling all in myself. I was still very much in this mind state, like I mentioned in the other video. I can't remember which one it even was now, but when I was up there, I was, just seeking this escapism from my day-to-day life. I was so miserable. I was so just feeling so awful and so terrible. I was like, God damn, I'm fucking miserable. And I just still, even when I came back, I came back and I was at my job, and I just wasn't, I was like, God, I was feeling miserable. I was feeling like a piece of shit. So I decided that, I needed something more still. I wanted something more still. I still needed more escapism. And at the time, as people have known me, I've had financial difficulties, whether it's not having a job or, whatever the case might be. But at this time, I still had some money saved up because I had just, I still had money saved up from not doing anything for years, never spending any money. So I'd taken this trip, which was one of my, first sort of, this trip to Toronto was kind of one of the first of its type. I'd only really taken 1 or 2 other trips in my entire life pretty much to go anywhere else out of state. So I came back and I'm like, God, I was still feeling this restless feeling, this unsatisfied feeling, this deep feeling. So I had driven actually to Toronto and driven back. So I came back to my hometown where I was working at, and my vehicle needed some tune-ups, needed some repairs and stuff. So I basically brought it in, got, oil change, I think the brakes needed to be changed, whatever else. So it was 100% up to speed again like that. And I was like, goddamn, before winter, I want to go back and drive some more. So I'm going to fucking go on a road trip to Seattle. I'm going to go on a road trip to the West Coast. I'm just going to fucking do it. I don't even give a fuck. I just, nothing was as important to me at the time as just, I don't know. I was just going kind of cuckoo, I was just like, fuck it. I don't care. Whatever. I'm going on a fucking road trip and I'm going to do it. And I pretty much just, I'm trying to think, I really did not even, pack a whole lot. I mean, it was pretty spontaneous. Because I left, because I created my YouTube channel. I got back from Toronto like the second week of September. I worked for like a week, but when as soon as I got back, I was like, I don't want this. I want to go on a road trip again. So I'm going to go on a road trip again. And so, I went and I did my video or my music or whatever. And then I basically just put my, week notice in to go on vacation. And I packed up my shit. I packed up a suitcase of stuff and I just started driving out. I went and I drove, I'm leaving from Minnesota and I drove to like North Dakota, Montana, Idaho, Wyoming. I was at the Rocky Mountains, all this beautiful stuff. It was really a great time. I saw some beautiful sights. I was stopping and seeing all different kinds of statues. I mean, really, to be honest, super, super comfy. I would love to do it again. I'm not going to lie. Like, just to go through these small towns, and it was just so beautiful and so comfortable, and it was just a great time. And, eventually I got out to Seattle, but I wasn't actually staying in Seattle. I was staying in, what the hell was it? Linwood. Yeah, that's right. I was staying in Linwood, which is north of Seattle. And I stayed there for a few days because I got a great rate on a hotel that had a hot tub in the hotel. This was like under $100 a night for a hot tub in the hotel, and they had like this fucking sky view. It was crazy, and I had a great time. It was a blast. When I was in my hotel, I made this video on my phone saying, oh, hey guys, I'm in Seattle, because I'm there. And I don't know, like, I just felt like if I was going to be there for a few days, maybe I'd see if I could do a meetup with anybody, because I had just met up with people in Toronto, so it wasn't so much of a foreign concept to me. So I'm like, okay, hey guys, what's up? I'm in Seattle right now. Or I'm in the area. Hey, anybody want to meet up? Whatever. And of course, at the time, especially since I had just deleted my YouTube channel, pretty much nobody was even looking at it at all. It was like no attention to it at all whatsoever. So it was basically just a total, but I put it out there. I'm like, hey, you never know. I didn't have very many people even on Snapchat at the time. It was just whatever it was, but nobody replied to that. But in any case, it wasn't a big deal. I was out in Seattle, had a good time, just kind of seen some stuff around there. I ate a burrito from a food truck by a Home Depot that was bigger than my fucking head. It was a pretty good time, I was like, yeah, I've been to Seattle, couple times now, I think. One was for, I caught a flight. This was years ago, but I caught a flight. It was like a connecting flight, and there was a layover where I ended up staying in Seattle for a whole day. So it's like, yeah, I've been there a couple times. Hey, it's a decent place. But anyway, so I was there for a couple days, and I'm like, all right, well, you know what? It's about time to get back. I only planned out so many days to be out on this little excursion, so I gotta, start heading back. I was gonna pretty much have to fucking beeline it all the way back, because I took my time getting out there, and I needed to make, the drive back more quickly. So I got up that day, and I'm like, well, I'm just gonna take I think, because it was like 2,000 miles or something or whatever. So I'm like, well, I think I was due for another oil change. So I'm like, all right, I'll take it into Midas, and we'll get this oil change, and I'm just gonna chill out or whatever. So I'm in the Midas, it's like 9 o'clock in the morning, whatever. I check out of my hotel. I'm at the Midas, getting my oil changed, and I'm just chilling, I'm reading these little newspapers, these little pamphlets they got laying around or whatever. And, I'm just whatever, and I happened to look at my phone. Well, I think I might have heard it on the television first that they had, because they had like a gas station and like a Midas, like right next to each other. So I'm basically in this gas station. And, I think they had something on the news about this Umpqua Community College, oh my goodness, shooter situation, whatever. And, really what it was at the time, because even at this point, I was done browsing R9K, I tried to stop browsing back in like August of 2015. And for people who ask me about that board, I want to put that out there as well. I really don't browse anymore. I honestly don't, especially after this incident was like, definitely the full cutoff point for me. But I just want to put that out there since some people still ask me about the board. I have really no connection to it anymore these days. But, so I was actually browsing Poll on my phone. In the top thread that I see on Poll is a picture of me, and it's one that I don't see is circulated quite as much anymore, but I was at this park, and I'm basically like, looking like a fucking fat than usual, just really nasty piece of shit. So, people are like, oh, this is the suspect of the Umpqua Community College shooting. He said he was in Seattle and, all this shit. And of course, I see that and I'm laughing at it. And, but then I can't remember if somebody messaged me on Snapchat or whatever it was, but I checked out R9K then at that point, and I think there was maybe like somewhere between like 15 to 20 threads on the board with my picture as the original post. And I'm like, well, I mean, I didn't really know how to take it at the time, honestly. I just thought it was kind of funny. There's a picture out there that will probably, fuck, I bet I have, if I have it, let's see where we're at here. We're at 15 and a half minutes. I bet I can find that picture in my computer somewhere still. I bet I can. I think I have it somewhere. If I do, I'm going to stick it over the screen right now where I'm talking right now. But, I posted it on Poll actually with no trip code or anything, but it was me in the fucking gas station with Umpqua ice cream because that's up there. They have that up there in the Northwest, this Umpqua ice cream. So I'm like, I posted this on Poll, but no responses to it. Nobody even like seemed to notice it or anything. So I was like, okay, even though it had part of my face in the fucking picture, but it was kind of whatever. It was just kind of, it wasn't really a big deal to me, I guess, like, I was like, oh, haha, funny, whatever. I didn't think it was anything that serious, so I kind of browsed the threads for a little while. My oil change was finished. I went, and I just started hitting the fucking road again. That was what it was. I just, I was like, well, time to start hitting the road, time to get back to it. And, I was outside of Seattle. I can't remember where. It was maybe, it was somewhere before Idaho, but I was outside of Seattle. I was in between, I was basically heading back across Washington, and I stopped at a rest stop to get a sip of water out of a water fountain and take a piss. And I went and just, decided to check my Snapchat, because obviously I wasn't looking at it while I was driving. But, at the time, I had only ever received, somebody would add me on Snapchat, even if I posted it on 4chan or some shit, maybe I'd get like 2 or 3 people adding me at a time. But I looked at my Snapchat, and after I'd pulled over at this rest stop, and the added you thing in the app was a plus sign. So I didn't know what that meant. I was like, plus. I was like, that's kind of weird. I've never seen that before in my life. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I opened it, and I have had like 100 people have added my Snapchat, and I'm like, gosh, that's interesting. That's kind of weird. I'm like, So, I started just adding people, and I keep on hitting accept, and I'm like, yeah, goddamn, this is a lot of people, and I'm like, boom, boom, boom. All of a sudden, I start getting messages from, and these are people who I still have on my Snapchat to this day. Tracy Clark Fiore, she used to write some clickbait shit. Nina something from New York Times. Derek Bowler, he was at Gawker at the time, but now he's at Storyful. Me and him still talk occasionally. Cause he's like the only one that actually fucking said, good, he's the only one that basically said, hey, this was some bullshit that happened to you, this is some fake news shit that happened to you, but basically all these reporters, I had New York Times, CNN, NBC, Fox, what's his face, Tom Winters, all these people start messaging me on Snapchat, and this is the real fucking Snapchats. I have these people's personal Snapchats, I see them fucking buying soy lattes with their dogs and whatever dumb journalist shit they do. I don't want to really name names, but let's just say, these people have been, they added me and it just kind of stuck. But anyway, they just start messaging me and they're like, oh my god, the report on CNN, they said on CNN, they said, you're the shooter, you're the suspected shooter, we want to get your take, are you alive, or, this is the only social media we have found to contact you at, what is this, can you please relay to NBC, can you please relay to Fox, can you please relay to MSNBC, what is going on, what is your story, what's going on, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck? I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing, you stupid motherfuckers? So I didn't even specifically, although I did speak to Tom Winters, that tweet is still out there if you look up his fucking, his Twitter. He says on there, like, I have spoken to the so-called Egg Man, and he is alive and not the shooter. But otherwise, so him I did speak to. He was like the one guy who, I was like, okay, what's up? Yeah, okay. Because he was like, yo, I'm NBC, man. What's up? I'm NBC. Tell me you're alive, dude. This is NBC. But otherwise, I put on my Snapchat story. I'm like, hey, I'm at this fucking rest stop, and I'm alive, so chill on that shit, because I didn't kill anybody, so fuck you guys. And that was basically about it, But I go, And this was before I crossed into Idaho, but I did end up crossing into Idaho, and I was at some place, I can't even remember what it is. It was like, it had a cool name, but it was kind of a smaller area, and I ended up staying at this hotel, this small motel there. It was very comfy. There was a gas station right next door. It was a nice little place. But I started watching CNN, and Don Lemon and fucking Wolf Blitzer, they're talking about, these 4chan beta males, they're out here shooting people, and all this shit, and I'm just like, holy fuck, dude, this is wild. This is crazy. This is insane. How did this happen? How did this happen? Now, I've been aware that the news is bullshit for a long time. I'll tell you a little bit of a side story here. So, if you don't know about me, my hometown where I grew up at, Red Wing, Minnesota, where they make the Red Wing shoes, all that shit. When I was in high school, there was this story that came out, where it was about this Wigger Wednesday. Oh my god, basically this black girl who went to school there, she said, oh my god, I was racially abused and racially traumatized because homecoming had Wigger Wednesday, where they mocked students of color and all this shit. This was like 8 years ago, or 7, 8 years ago, something like that now. And I'd gone to school at the time, and I knew that it was bullshit. I mean, the whole story was fabricated. Their whole evidence of the story was they had like there was this kind of semi-popular Middle Eastern girl, and like her preppy friends were like wearing like tall white tees and like backwards caps and going like this. That was their entire proof. And also there was a Facebook group that had been made for the school because we'd had a new principal or something come in who was a butch dyke lesbian, and she was like, there was rumors that she was sexually harassing the female students and stuff like that. So there was this Facebook group that was just created by like one guy from our school who said, let's, we need to get rid of her, talking about the new principal or vice. I don't even remember what her position was, but there was rumors that she was like sexually harassing the students or the female students. So, that was like the whole premise behind this group. But when it was on, then they brought it to fucking Young Turks, all this different stuff. And the whole premise was like, all these racist white people said we need to get this black student out of our school. And it was just, the whole story was just such bullshit that, everybody at the school was like, wow, this is total bullshit. She just wants free money. She just wants money. That's her entire motivation, is that she just wants money from the school just for no reason. And she ends up winning this fucking case with no proof, no anything. It was just the fucking school was so cuckolded that they're like, oh my god, our white privilege we need to do better with our white privilege. Oh no, we're evil whitey. And this chick gets like $75,000 settlement from the school and fucking buys like rims on a car with it. And she was back working like within like a very short period of time. If somebody gave me 75 grand tomorrow for some dumb bullshit, I would be like, let me try to invest this in something worth, I could do some serious benefits to myself, in my future with that. Fuck, I could go buy 10 Bitcoins or whatever, Now, she bought like fucking rims on a car or something, and she was back working at McDonald's like within like 2 years or some shit like that. I'm like, god damn. Wow. Wow. Oof. Ouch. But after that whole incident, that's when I knew, because I was younger at the time, I was still kind of lefty-ish, maybe centrist at the time, and I'm like, oh my god, that was some total bullshit. So, it wasn't to me, for them to basically come out and, and basically put me out as like this shooter. And the thing is too, is that, you can go back on the last channel, and I'm sure if you do, to like the Black Pill video, still to this day, after 2 years, like all the top rated comments on a bunch of this stuff is like, oh, this guy's a murderer! Killer! Murderer! Oh, we need to start locking these people up, these sick individuals. And there's screenshots from Twitter, Facebook that go around. They're like, basically people literally just saying, this guy was ugly and weird looking, so it was definitely for sure he was gonna kill people, so he should have been killed already just to protect people, even though I did nothing. So people are like, oh, that was like, coming off of the black pill, people were like, oh, this is like the super black pill now. They wanted to kill him. They want him to lock him up just because he's ugly. I'm like, yeah, they do. But what just blew my mind is that legitimately, like 3 or 4 people from 4chan made Twitter accounts and basically just, Same way that Sam Hyde gets blamed for so much shit. They literally just posted my picture a couple times, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this guy did it. Yeah, he's from 4chan. He did that." And they're like, people from the major news networks, CNN, Fox, NBC, all these people who fucking, especially NBC. I'll say Tom Winters. Yes, he was like the one to officially, say, "Oh, that's not him." But CNN and NBC were like the two ones who just fucking ran with it so hard. They wanted to just fucking like pull my picture up on screen and fucking like light it on fire, because they were just fucking Wolf Blitzer and Don Lemon. They were just like so, "Oh, this guy, it's definitely him. It's not confirmed yet, but it's definitely him." Oh Christ. But it was just such a mind fuck. I'm like, you actually just took like 3 tweets with my picture, and that was like all the fucking proof you needed to just, and now same things that have happened in the last year with like the Trump, Trump getting peed on or whatever. Somebody just puts up some bullshit with no source, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, that's good enough. Yeah, somebody tweeted just like a Photoshop. Yeah, that's good enough. Yeah, sure, why not?" And I mean, it's just insane, is it not? Like, it's just fucking crazy to imagine, if you're not already aware of that, the news is total fabrication. Everything they put out is a lie. It's all just created to drive a narrative. None of it's even remotely true. None of it means anything. Anything you're watching on TV, tell your kids, tell your parents, tell somebody, man. Everything you're seeing on TV, they could create their own Twitter account and be like, "Oh, this happened," tweet with only one tweet account created yesterday. Then fucking CNN could be like, "Oh, this proves everything. Look what we found. Oh my God, it proves everything we ever thought." That's what it is. Journalists are subhuman cockroaches who do not even deserve the oxygen they breathe. They're absolutely the worst kind of propagandists, and I could not say enough bad things about the media. But, the fallout from this, obviously, I had people who did reach out to me at the time, and they're like, "Can we do this?" The New York Times once. I got approached by the New York Times a couple times. First was, "Are you alive? What's going on?" They also wanted me to basically do like a little story for the New York Times about it. But when this was going on, I wasn't thinking in my head. I wasn't thinking like, "Oh, now it might seem like I've tried to, make the best of it," because I pretty much have. And there's some people who have probably heard me tell this story like probably literally like 50 times at this point. And some people are like, "Oh, that's all you ever did. That's all that your whole life has ever been, is you just got blamed for a murder and da-da-da-da." I'm like, "Hey, well, if you think that getting blamed by, tens of thousands of people for mass murder is like your good thing, that's good for you, hey, go right ahead, because, sure, maybe did it get some eyes on me and there's people who became aware of me through that? Sure, cool, whatever. But, I mean, there's probably other, ways that would be maybe a little bit better than being blamed for numerous murders, because, fuck, if I had gotten, I could have ran up by anybody, if I had pulled over at a gas station or something like that, in the area. I mean, I'm in the area, you know what I mean? I could have been on the run, I could have got shot by some guy who was like, "Oh, that's the killer, he's on the run." Because they didn't confirm Chris Harper, the guy who actually did it. They didn't confirm his identity for a while. They didn't confirm his information for a while because they found out that he was like somewhat of he was a biracial Islamic extremist. So then they didn't really want to talk about it anymore. But if they had, if somebody had gotten a tweet or a Facebook or something, my life could have been over. I could have been fucking shot by some guy, you know what I mean? Who knows? But, the way that it all kind of ended up was, everybody had a good laugh at how the media is fucking stupid and they're total bullshit. And yes, Gawker put these articles out about me that, drove like 70 to 80,000 views on my videos within like 2 days. And so, yeah, I got some eyes on me, I guess. And it wasn't even my YouTube channel, but it was something that happened, And that's pretty much, I guess, really the full story. There wasn't a whole lot of extra fallout, except, like I said, Derek Bowler came out. He still published another story about it at the end of 2015 and like in December, basically saying that was some bullshit and, all these sites just hopped on it without any fucking anything. They didn't care about anything. They're just like, "Oh, a story. Oh, let's throw it up on everything. Whoa." So, yeah, that's, Now it's just at this point, if somebody, it's the extent of it is when somebody asks me, well, what do you do? Why do people care about you? I'm like, well, I made the black pill video. I got my identity stolen. I was publicly chastised by women and made fun of online, and was an autistic raging spurg, and repeatedly said that women should be reduced to breeding stock, and then I got blamed for mass murder for being a fucking, abrasive, trip fag, attention whore. And here we are today, now I'm making videos in my basement, and drinking energy drinks every day, and playing video games. Among other things, it's been a wild ride. But, there was something else that I felt I was going to talk about, and I don't even recall. Oh yes, fight stories. Let's just shoehorn this in at the end of this, because we got like 5 more minutes to kill. So people said, talk about fight stories. You might not take me as the fighting type, but when I was younger, I found myself in some physical altercations. For one, I was kind of somebody who found myself in some petty crime situations. I was hanging out with the crowd, that had no father, and living in kind of the hood of what hood there was. So it was, even when we were young kids, I think I mentioned this one time in some story that I don't remember, but we when Fight Club came out, I was in like 2nd or 3rd grade when the movie came out, and we decided to start our own fight club at our elementary school, which lasted for like a day or two because some kid tattled on us. But that was probably my first real exposure with like physical contact, combat, or whatever. But when I was growing up, I lived kind of near this hospital, and it had like a big open empty parking lot, and it had like this by street that went behind it that was kind of obscured. So we would go over there. There was more than a couple times when we got a little bit older, maybe junior high-ish, maybe the high end of junior high. We'd go back to this like obscured area, and we just box, and that's just what it was. Like, I never really had, like, I got bullied a little bit when I was a kid. There was one particular guy who like beat me up a couple times and like shoved me in a locker once when I was actually in elementary school, and the dude ended up being he's like a multiple felon now. Actually, I don't even know if he's still alive, but he basically was going that path already. But there was never a lot of times where people were just gonna like step up to me, because I was one of the bigger kids. I mean, I was probably like 5'9" when I was like 12 years old. I was like the tallest kid at one point, so I just, didn't really have a lot of, people might talk shit about me, but it just never really got to a physical level. So really, when I was getting into a physical situation, it was mostly, for the most part, like a mutual agreement sort of thing. So there were some dudes I'd box, behind this place, this hospital near my, where I grew up. And also, there was one time, the school bus was probably like the number one thing of physical confrontation, because people would try and fuck with me. People would like try and like, smack my head or grab my hair or whatever when I'd just be chilling, because I'd be like, laying like this. I'd be like, just like in the bus seat, waiting to get off at my stop or whatever the case was, and somebody might fucking, just do something to me to try and, set me, and, they'd be like, oh, well, what's up, man? What, huh? What? I didn't do anything. But there was one time, this is probably the story I'll end on here. I was in junior high. I must have been in 8th grade, I think. And this dude who I'm trying to remember. We didn't take the same bus, so I don't remember why he was on my bus, actually. I really don't recall, but it was this Puerto Rican dude who I knew. And it was around Halloween time, and he had, for whatever reason, come into possession of a bunch of fake blood, like tubes and tubes of it. So we get on the bus, and he's like, oh, hey, bro, you want to see something cool? I'm like, yeah, sure, dude, what's up? And he takes out this fake blood, and he just starts fucking, like, squeezing it, and he's, like, fucking squeezing this fake blood all over the windows, and just going like this, and he's fucking, like, doing it, and just, like, fucking puts fake blood on his face like this, and then he fucking puts some on his hand, and he slaps me. And I'm like, oh, fuck, dude, you piece of shit, I'm gonna beat your ass. And he's like, oh, you already beat me up, dude. Look at I'm fucking bleeding, dude. And he was like, oh, you hit me, dude. Oh, my God, I'm bleeding, dude. And he's like fucking putting this fake blood all over the seat, and he's fucking like squeezing it in the fucking bus aisle. And for, I don't know why, but like nobody was really paying attention. It was weird. Like we were all always in like our own like worlds, it seemed like, depending on like, which group of people was sitting in which group of seats. And, but then we could pull up to the first stop where somebody's getting out, and it's this girl, she's getting out, and she just screams at the top of her lungs because she sees this fucking fake blood all over our whole area and all over the floor, and she just fucking, oh my God, what happened? And, the bus driver gets up and he's like, holy shit, what's going on? And, I don't know, we didn't get in trouble though. Like, I didn't ever get kicked off the bus for that shit. I don't know, like, I had to get off at the next stop, and I just hopped out. I didn't say anything. I didn't look at anybody. I just kind of like dipped out and ran, and that's what all that was. But, I don't really have a whole lot of fight stories. Actually, fuck it, I'll let it go a couple more minutes here, because there's one other story I can think of where I really got my ass beat one time, because I was in the trap one time. And there was this dude from Wisconsin, I can't remember where, I don't think he was from like Milwaukee or any like super gangster shit like that, but he was basically just some dude from, but he was a fucking tweaker. But he was a tweaker and he was a fit tweaker. So we're in the trap, and we're just kind of chilling out, we had like the TV, we're all just kind of chilling. And I don't remember what the fuck the situation was, but basically, he just decided that, he had to prove that he was a big tough man, so he just kind of started like, he was tweaking, like he was like, he's all, fucking tweaked out, and he just decided he needs to start, getting at somebody, and I guess I looked at like a good target, that seems to be a recurring thing for me, that I'm a good target for physical or for somebody to try and oh, I want to be a big tough guy, so I'm gonna go try to fuck with you. But this guy was a fucking big, tough guy. He was taller than me, and he was pretty much shredded. And, I really don't remember what set him off. I really don't. Like, it was, I looked at him or something, and he grabs me by the collar of my shirt, and he fucking lifts me up, like, I'm like choking me, like, I've never otherwise that I can recall, because I'm big and much fatter now, maybe, but I've never recalled anybody being able to pick me up like that except for this one dude. And he fucking picks me up, and he just fucking, boom, hits me right in the fucking, guts, like, not like the stomach, but more like the abdominal. He just fucking, boom, hits right in the abdominals, and I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm glad, or I'm lucky that I didn't get like seriously injured off that dude, because the dude was a big dude. And, but there was a guy who, rest in peace, he passed away, I think like 5 or 6 years ago now, but there was this dude who would kind of look out for me, he was an OG, and he was like, oh man, he found out that happened, he was like just on his way in, basically, as this was going on, and he'd been shot multiple times and had survived. But he's seen this dude acting like this, and he was like, you're picking on a fucking kid, dude. I'll fucking break your fucking jaw, you piece of shit. I'll fucking cave your skull in, you motherfucker. Don't you ever lay a hand on a fucking kid like that, you goddamn no good fucking pussy. Get the fuck out of here, you fucking piece of shit. And so, thankfully, I don't know, I don't think the guy would have killed me or anything like that, but he was like, what? You looking at me? What? You looking at me, huh? You wanna say something, bitch, huh? And this dude was like probably my age now, and I was fucking, like 14 years old, 15 years old, it was crazy. But, no, I just can't say, I've had people step to me a lot of times, especially, like, I've mentioned too, I think when I got older and I was at the bars, I could be a very cocky person. I could be a very, thinking I'm all that and kind of being, I'm out, that's how I hurt myself, I broke my foot dancing, but I'd be out, busting moves. I might go up to some girls and be, basically getting behind them, doing the old, put your fucking, arm behind your back and do like the fucking like pseudo hump on, these chicks, shaking their asses. And every now and then that ended up being somebody's girlfriend, and they would, they'd step to me and be like, huh, you fucking queer, man, huh? You wanna act like that, huh? You wanna be a tough guy, huh? And I was just like, hey, dude, I don't know, like, maybe I'm just low test. I don't feel like this urge to every single guy that comes up to me and wants to talk some shit. I just kind of was like, hey, I'm like, hey, I'm doing my thing. I'm having a good time, and I don't really need to catch an assault charge. So, hey, man, if you want to swing on me, let's go. But otherwise, you're doing all that capping, boy. You're talking out the side of your neck, boy. Haters getting dusted. Brr, 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 brr. So I guess that's probably about all I have for fight stories. There not a whole lot, except for that whole knife fight I had when I was in junior high, but okay, well, I guess I better tell that story. Fuck it. Let's just get it all out of the system, I guess. That's pretty much the other thing. So, when I was in 6th grade, there was a dude who I went to high school, or he was a new person, I'd gone from elementary school to the junior high, and we had, so many elementary schools in the area, and they all kind of converged into this junior high, but he had just moved from Iowa. And this dude, that's part of the reason why he got expelled when we got to high school, is because he had so many weapons in his locker, which was totally not allowed. But for whatever reason, I remember we were in some class, and I don't remember what the fuck the class was, but at my junior high, there was a outdoors component that they, like Habitat for Humanity or some charity or something, had put this like little outdoor area where they're like, oh, children these days, when they go outside and they get that fresh air while they do their studies, it like increases their brain power by like 11.575434.5%. And it's like so good, man. So I still don't remember what the class was, but we walked out into this outdoor area, and this dude, he's like, hey man, you want to see something cool? Because we're like, we're walking like single file line, and we're kind of going through like a little bit of like bushes and shit because it was kind of like, there was like trees around and stuff. It was kind of like a forested area, but it had like a path carved out and everything. So I'm like, okay. So we kind of stepped to the side of the line, and some other people are going by, and then he pulls out a knife. He's like, check that out, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And he kind of like gets close to me with it, and he's like, yeah, it's pretty sharp. You want to see how sharp it is? I'm like, oh shit, no. You gonna try to fucking, you made me wait to the back of the line so you can fucking gut me, fucking kill me. And he's like, no, bro, here you go. And he has another knife. Like, I don't know. When he got expelled, I think he had like a dozen knives in his locker, and I knew him to have, a healthy supply of weaponry for the most part at all times anyway. So we both have these little knives. He's like, come on, dude, let's go, come on. Let's go. First one to, first one to get cut loses. And we're fucking, like, going like this or whatever. And, we weren't far enough out of, like, because obviously they weren't just gonna, leave, we were still there, you know what I mean? People might not have had, the teacher might not have been looking at us, but we were like in the back of the line, but there was still students, like, at, reasonable distance away, and they're like, yo, dude, what the fuck? Dude, man, what are you guys fucking doing, man? They're fucking fighting each other, dude. They're gonna stab each other, dude. Man, these fucking crazy dudes are gonna stab each other, dude. Holy shit, dude. Oh my god, they're fucking crazy, dude. And so, it was only, it wasn't the whole student body, obviously, of that class, but it was like, that whoever was at the end of the line, like those few people, 3-5 people or whatever, like, oh my god, dude, you guys are fucking crazy, dude. Holy shit. And we kind of fucked around and kind of like, we never stabbed each other, but we kind of like went at each other a little bit for a little while. And then, we ended up, he's like, oh, dude, give me that back. And I gave it to him, and we fucking like ran up with the line. But then we're sitting there, we're supposed to be doing these studies or whatever. And the people are like, oh my god, dude, man, fucking Mills, dude, and that other guy, man, they were fucking fighting each other with knives and shit, dude. Oh my god, it was fucking crazy, dude. Whoa, it was so wild. Oh my god, you guys are fucking crazy, dude. They're gonna fucking shoot up the school or something, man. They're fucking, oh man, they're wild. But, yeah. I guess, I like to think that situation is why nobody really ever fucked with me beyond that. Cause like I said, 4th, 5th grade, I had a little bit of that when I was in elementary school, but junior high and then on, I didn't. So I'm like, well, maybe there was something there to do with that. I don't know. It was an interesting situation to say the least. But, with that, my friends, I think that I'll probably end it there because we're already, doing a longer episode than usual. But I just want to say shout out to everybody again for tuning in. Shout out to Adele Fittler for winning, copy of Neckbeards. So Adele, just, if you would like that, just go ahead and contact me, give me some Steam info. Otherwise, my friends, with that, much love. I hope you all are having a great weekend. And I will just see you next time on Egg Wars. Take it easy, buddies. And we'll see you next time.
Sounds from the void.